We'll look at this. After this, I think that we should actually do the 60 raids. I've wanted to do that. I'm feeling pretty good about the 60 raids. I'm excited. I promised that I would do it for a while. We can do the 60 raids. Let me finish this first, though. The surprise new feature of patch 8.2. Blizz slammed for supporting ticket scalping and lessons of BFA.
The official BlizzCon ticket platform now supports ticket scalping, making many people feel quite bad about Blizzard's choice of partner.
Hey.
But past that, things are looking good for World of Warcraft, with this week bringing a number of very positive Rise of Ashara developments.
Okay.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the news. And yeah, what a week it's been. It's actually been a fantastic week for the game, with elements of patch 8.2 shaping up quite nicely indeed. But first, well, Blizzard are literally supporting ticket scalping, and I think it's a bit of a problem.
What?
So this year's BlizzCon ticket sales are being done through the AXS app, which has resulted in a major change. You see, in the past, Blizz would allow people to transfer ticket ownership within a certain date range, but they took a number of steps to clamp down on ticket scalping. This had all been quite well received by their customers, but, well, we have a very big development this year. So the problem is that the AXS application essentially does have built-in scalping support, and that does extend to BlizzCon tickets. And I'm not even joking, it really is quite bad. AXS are pretty much saying, you know, if you can't beat him, join him, just like Blizzard on the Diablo 3 auction house.
Hey, there you go.
Slip a bit of the cream off the top. So here's the deal. The app has the functionality to transfer tickets to someone else. Now that's fine, but you can set a price and list it for sale. Now this has led to, you know, official resales being about $500, with joke postings of being $2,000 for a ticket. Now,
$500 fucking dollars? Holy shit! Just as I gotta take off my hoodie. It's getting a little bit hot here. Okay, just a sec. Okay, all right, we're good now. Sorry about that, boys. Okay, how's my hair look? I'm not going bald, guys. I'm not. Certain that's absolutely not happening whatsoever. $20,000 BlizzCon ticket. That's great. Here's the thing. I think they should just let you transfer it, but not let people put money next to it.
AXS are incredible at getting money out of this. It's amazing. So first, tickets are actually sold with a 5.25% web convenience fee, making the base tickets actually cost $241, not $229. So pretty misleading, but a common enough practice in that industry.
Why am I not
that's
surprised?
Already kind of bad, but if you actually go to resell your ticket, well, there is a 22.5% resale fee that the buyer pays. Now, if you wanted to resell your ticket for the $241 that it actually cost you because of the web convenience fee, then your list price would be $295. Now, that's not what you would get. You would still get your $241, but the buyer would have to pay the extra 22.5% on top of that, which, of course, goes to our friends at AXS. Now, on top of that, the seller is then charged a 7.5% fee that is based on the list price. As Wowhead points out, for somebody to break even on all of these fees...
Oh, God, dude, this is amazing. I love it. So you've got 3 different fucking fees that you've got to pay for. I mean, I feel like, this is just like, wow, you've got to pay for the game, you pay for the expansion, you pay for the sub, and then you buy the fucking mounts. What is this, man? There's probably going to somehow be like a 4th way that you're being paid too. He's balding either worse than you. It's hard really to say, but we're doing our best.
Would need to sell for $261, which would cost the buyer $319. So for a single resold ticket, AXS would make the 5.25% fee on the base sale. It's about $12. If the ticket was then resold at the break-even point for the reseller, they would then get their 22.5% buyer side fee, which is about $60, and then they'd get the 7.5% seller's fee, which is about $20.
Like, why wouldn't you just combine the selling fee and the convenience fee? Do you know why they don't do that? It's like, you ever noticed whenever you buy like items on some bullshit store, they always have some secondary currency that you buy. So you don't necessarily spend dollars on it. You spend coins or crowns or tokens or, you know, gold pieces or platinum items or something like that, right? You always use these, yeah, special dollars, Disney dollars, etc. The reason for that is so the people can create a disconnect in your head of how much money you're actually spending on these bullshit items. Okay, bits. Yeah, there's another one, bits. Well, at least, I mean, on Twitch it's different because at least whenever you buy a microtransaction in a game, you can use the item. But on Twitch, you don't get anything out of bits. Like if somebody gives me 100 bits, like Broken Arrow, like what did Broken Arrow just get out of that? I said his name, which is usually, like, I usually forget most of the time. You get fucking nothing. Let me read these real quick. I hope you're doing good, but your way was, while you were away, it was horrible, but I respect to do what you want on me as a society. You're a great guy and entertaining, so I thank you for it. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. First station ever. This BG was awesome. I was laughing my ass off. Dude and Fox, you know what? Maybe I will do a few more BGs. Like, you know what? If people like BGs, I'll do more of them. I really like BGs too. I've done BGs for fucking, I mean, there's a reason why I've been Battle Master for almost 10 years. Hey, you know? Let's see. Icyan, thank you very much for the gifted subs too. I appreciate that. Sorry, I didn't want to get too far behind on any of this. Order without thinking about bits. Don't want anything? Good. Well, then you'll be pleasantly surprised.
They get the 7.5% seller's fee, which is, you know, about $20, meaning that overall, that one ticket would have made AXS $92. That is a finely tuned money-making machine, that is for sure. The only value add to customers here is they have some protections and anonymity,
That's true.
And yet, like, it is true that scalping will happen anyway. This is basically just the company getting in that and extracting as much money as they can from the whole process, which, you know, they're perfectly in their right to do that. Just like we are perfectly in our right to dislike them for doing that, and to dislike Blizzard Entertainment for choosing them as their partner, knowing that this is something that they support in their app, even though it is something that Blizzard themselves in the past had actively tried to clamp down on as much as they could. So you've got to wonder, you know, what is it that changed Blizzard's opinion there?
I wonder.
But okay, sort of sad news aside, let's get on to the in-game stuff. This is great. We've seen the follow-up to the Crucible of Storms gear. So while much of the Eternal Palace loot table is still placeholder or is without effect, a number of weapons have appeared in the most recent build that do have interesting effects. Now, we of course saw Blizzard experiment with this type of thing in the Crucible of Storms loot table, and it's something that I think has generally been hailed as a very good idea. Each new tier used to bring us a class set. Now, with that being lost and Azerite being really dull, plus classes being pared back, it's very fair to say that the first chunk of Battle for Azeroth was mechanically boring while still being super reliant on sims. So it was just a terrible place for character customization and player ownership to really be. Well, Crucible attempted to fight that by giving us new gear that had gameplay relevant effects, and I really loved that.
That's great.
Eternal Palace currently has 3 such weapons on its loot table. However, there's another 4th weapon that has a partially completed effect, plus loads of placeholder weapons and some weapons that only have secondary stats. Now, it would be odd to only have effects on, well, it would be odd only to have like one effect per weapon category, so I imagine there'll be some that will just have secondary stats and others which will be a bit more, you know, like just more effects and stuff. But let's actually just take a look at the ones that are on the PTR, because you know what, they're actually pretty cool. So we've got a shield that turns 5% HP into a 5% absorb shield each time the shield is depleted. That means that you effectively always have 105% of your character's health pool, assuming you've got HOTS rolling on you. Now, it's fair to say that's not massively interactive, but I think that power should feel pretty fun, and
that's really fucking cool.
Making in what it would be competing
I like that. No, that's awesome.
A staff. This is really cool. It gives you a chance.
Boys, yo, dude, you know what? I can't wait. Okay. Imagine I get this staff, or I get the shield, okay? And then I hot swap the shield on during arena. I'm Fury Warrior. I'm dual wielding the trident and the shield. Using the gloves for the absorb shield. And I have the trinket from Opulence. I never die. Infinite absorbs. Absolutely fucking incredible.
to get a stack of a buff.
I can't
called
wait to see that.
Potency. Then, if you fall below 10% HP or mana, you unleash Potency, all your charges, damaging enemies and healing allies for 3,640 per charge. Now, this could potentially be powerful. I mean, if a 10-player group had 3 players with that staff and they all had 10 stacks, that's a heavy group heal. That's a 109k heal for your allies, which certainly would help out quite a bit. Now, we'll need to see how the balancing works out, and yes, it's not a super interesting active ability, but it's something that actually would...
You know what PvP really needs? More death saves. That's what it really needs. Just like this staff here. It needs more instances of you not being able to kill your target. It needs a lot more of those. I love it.
Impact your group comp. It's a decision that would have to be made. The effect is powerful and impactful enough to really have that be something you could be planning into your gearing choices, especially since, you know, it's also going to be competing with, you know, staffs that just have secondary stats and would have more raw throughput, or staffs that... maybe have some other effects, so it's pretty cool. Then finally, there's a gun that splits 50% of incoming damage with an ally within 15 yards for 25 seconds, up to 750k damage, with that effect ending if your target moves out of range or goes below 25% health. And once more, this is really cool. Of course, I played a hunter for a long time. What I loved about playing a hunter was...
Does that mean you can stand next to somebody and take a lot of damage and get them killed? Because it says ally, it doesn't say party member or group member. So can I go over to Elwyn Forest and just like aggro something that does a lot of damage and just fucking get this guy killed? This is awesome. No, 25%, no, you're right about 25%, but like you can take somebody to 25% really, really fucking quick. And then you have to, this is so awesome.
Being the person, because of the mobility, who runs off and does stuff in the raid. And for a situation like that, this is a really cool item to have. Helps you soak when you're maybe not using Aspect of the Turtle, or if that, you know, doesn't apply to whatever mechanic you're dealing with. I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, we'll need to see how this all develops, but once more, it's a great example of Blizzard seemingly trying to just, you know, change up how things are and go away from their launch of BFA. I mean, hey, this may seem crazy, but turns out people want interesting, fun loot in their role-playing games. You know, stuff you actually want to seek out by name because it's got a cool effect. That's something we've not really had in the game for quite some time from regular boss loot tables, bar say really cool trinkets. So that's great, and it also helps that this gear has effects that does admittedly, you know, beef up the gameplay a little bit, even though, yeah, it's a little bit more simple at its base. This is not going to fundamentally fix class design, but it is a good feature, and it's something I would like to see continued more into the future. Combine this with the customizable Mechagon trinket and a few more of the experiments Blizzard have been doing lately.
Thank fucking God.
I think itemization is going to be at the
Wait, what the fuck? So you get that trinket, and then you can put these sockets in there. Wait, holy shit. So you have customizable trinkets. Oh my God. That's fucking amazing. Holy shit, dude. This is awesome. Ojan, thanks to the $2, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Wow. Yo, whoever thought of that, I hope they're getting promoted. Like, this is actual customization. Well, how is Blizzard, they're saying that that's too complicated, that like gems are too complicated, but then they do something like this. This is very complicated. I love it. Fuck yeah. This is the first time I've heard of it.
Placed in a more interesting position in this patch. Next up, we've got something super cool for War Mode. So when it was initially announced, Blizzard said that they were excited about the types of open world PvP content that they could create once the system existed. They really said that just War Mode existing as a system would allow them to start experimenting with reintroducing world PvP into the game. So how's that worked out? Well, I think it's been a mixed bag so far. War Mode has had great moments of fun for me. I've had some really memorable faction incursions, but oftentimes it's been, you know, a bit campy, a bit zergy, not really that great. So it's been a mixed bag, like, flight point camping. Now, 8.2 has a new system that uses war mode, and I think this is one that's worth getting excited about. So, the Battle for Nazjatar is a world PvP event that will be active across Nazjatar when war mode is turned on. Now, the battle lasts for 45 minutes, but the overall scheduling, we'll just have to wait and see what that's like, because it doesn't seem like it's final in PTR. Anyway, when the battle begins, a 45-minute timer appears as well as a score bar. The battle ends once the timer runs out or a faction hits 1,000 points, and they're pretty quick on PTR.
Okay.
How does all this happen? Well, by controlling objectives on the map.
Okay.
There are 5 control points across Nazjatar, and they're all sort of spread out around the different sub-biomes of the zone. And yeah, that's all you really need, right? Just give people some objectives, give them some stuff to do, give them some rewards, basic structure, and world PvP, well, just the natural PvP gameplay will carry the rest. And Nazjatar, of course, has loads of rares, buffs, special effects, plus because it's open world, you just have access to a whole bunch of tools and hijinks. Overall, I anticipate this will deliver strong world PvP content,
That's fucking
essentially
awesome.
turning the zone into a sort of battleground.
Yeah, that's
but
amazing,
with the
dude. That's
benefits of being non-instanced, meaning that you actually feel
great.
like it matters. And I think that is so
Fuck
important.
yeah.
If anything, modern World of Warcraft shows us the downsides of too much of the game experience being instanced. Yeah, this will allow for natural zergs of players to form. A lot of that messy, old school PvP. That's really, I think, a large part of the experience of an MMO. I mean, with MMOs, I think that they're often about texture and fantasy over super tightly tuned gameplay. And I think this is absolutely the type of thing I would love to see more of in the future. Now, it would be ideal if there were consequences long-term for winning, just like Wrath's Vault of Archivon. However,
that'd be
Blizzard
fucking
kind
badass.
of wrote themselves into a corner here. Cross-realm zones means that you can't really have long-lasting gameplay, because it's like, oh no, the Alliance lost the Battle for Nazjatar. I'll cross-realm over to a server where they didn't.
Man.
That'll be a hard thing, I guess, for them to design around in the future. Anyway, reward-wise, you get 5 Nazjatar commendations and 100 conquest for winning, or 1 commendation and 25 conquest for losing. In terms of rewards, there was a Heart of Azeroth essence called Reality Shift.
Yeah,
its
this is
green version
great,
costs
dude.
5, the blue version costs 20, and the epic costs 50,
Okay,
but also
fuck yeah.
costs 5 Call to Arms distinctions. There is also a War Banner and a War Standard. They're both toys. They cost 10 and 30 tokens each. There's one for the Alliance, one for the Horde for each. There's a pet for 50, and the Ink Scale Deep Seeker for 150, which is a pretty nice looking mount.
How many of those fucking things are they gonna make? If they just had one seahorse that was like, oh wow, this is the big dick seahorse, everybody would be like, and they saw the seahorse, they're like, wow, he's got the thing. But now everybody's gonna have a different version of the same thing, and nobody's gonna give a fuck about it. Like, what are they thinking? Why do they keep doing this? Like, this is Blizzard's idea of content. They're like, well, we're gonna make one model, and that model is going to be the capstone reward of all content in the game, and the difference between the models and the rewards is the color. And so if you have the red one, that means you did this, and if you have the green one, that means you did that. They did this in Wrath, and I thought it was like generally okay. But at this point, like, man, like, let's do something a little bit fucking different. They shouldn't, man, the mount situation that BFA has is so fucking bad. There's only like 3 or 4 mounts in the entire game in BFA right now that matter. Number 1 is the Longboy, number 2 is the Gladiator mount, and number 3 is the Jaina mount, maybe. Like, nobody gives a fuck about any of the other mounts in the game. Island mounts. No, those are the worst fucking mounts. No island mounts. They're the fucking worst, dude. And then Blizzard, you know what Blizzard's gonna do. After I cave in and I buy 2 extra accounts to start multi-boxing on normal mode islands all day, all night, all the time, that way I can get all 6 of them or 9 of them or however many I need. By the time that I finish that, Blizzard's gonna announce, hey, we've listened to your feedback and now we're gonna make it a vendor reward. And then I'm gonna have to fucking buy them. Like, Blizzard doesn't understand mounts. They don't understand them. Did you say that you would fuck that mount? No, that was another mount. They don't understand mounts. I understand mounts. They need to, they honestly, they should consult with me about their mount rewards.
You can also get some more of those tokens or commendations by doing the world quest that's there, so you'll probably just accrue those over time. Overall, though, I think this is a fantastic move for the game. I think it's absolutely something I want to see them work on more in the future, and if this is standard in a bunch of the game's new zones, I really do think that the world of World of Warcraft will be in a much better spot.
That's
at
great.
least for the players who are okay with toggling on war mode. Next up, we've got some RMT bans. Yes, a Twitch streamer called TM Sean has been banned for 18 months, while many in his guild have been banned for 6 months, bar another guy in his guild who was banned for 18. RMT, of course, stands for real money trading, and it's exactly what it sounds like, and of course is something that is against the game's TOS. They were selling Mythic Desarlor carries for the mount. I believe it was about $1,000. The ban, of course, is totally justified. It's obviously against the terms of service. This type of RMT, though, is very, very common. Prices often hit up to $2,000 for a Jaina mount and a 9 out of 9 clear in some websites. And I think the economics of all this is just very interesting. Like, it seems like a crazy amount of money, right, in terms of the value for what you're getting, but let's actually think about what's happening. Say 3 people are being carried in a Mythic run.
Okay.
Maybe 2 are paying 1,000 for 9 out of 9, and 1 person's paying 1,500 for the Jaina mount. Okay, so that's $3,500. Now, those 3 people are paying for the time of 17 specialists. Now, if that raid takes 4 hours, then that's 68 hours in total.
I love that word.
That boils down to $51.5 per hour for each of the raiders involved.
$50
now, if it's
an
just
hour.
one person being carried in a Mythic raid for a Jaina mount, then, you know, say they pay $1,500.
That's pretty damn good.
Well, the raid would probably be a bit quicker because there'd be less carries. Let's just say 3 hours for 19 raiders on the roster, which comes out to 57 man-hours purchased for $25 per hour, roughly. Now, this isn't really the full picture. The guild organizers will likely take a cut, as will any online services that act as a storefront for this, so let's just assume 30% is lost to that. And you're looking at, what, 15 to 30 bucks an hour for the rank and file raiders while they're doing that. And then, of course, you know, how many times they can do that per week, that depends on the number of characters that they have access to. And it's an interesting thing. I suppose it's not as lucrative for the rank and file as you may think, because it turns out,
of course,
you know,
not
19 people, 18 people, that's a lot of people.
Fuck no.
You know, it's a lot of ways to split the pie. Now, of course, I don't condone this at all. I'm just saying this because I think it's really interesting to run the economics and work out just how the secondary market works. What's going on there?
Somebody says they're not carrying for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, so it's more side hustle money? No, it's not. What it is it's a bunch of college-age kids that don't have a job and have no job prospects and want to spend all day playing video games, and this is how they monetize their hobby in order to convince their mom and dad not to kick them out of the basement. Like that's what this really is. Okay, let's just cut the bullshit. That's what it is. And yeah, no, trust me. Like, look, hey, yo, takes one to know one, right? Hey, I see him. I'm like, yeah, I used to be that. That's okay. All right, got it. Like Twitch? Well, yeah, of course, exactly. If I was Blizzard, and I saw if I caught one of the streamers selling carries, I would message them and say, if you ever do this again, I will DMCA your account and you'll never stream on Twitch again, anything for a while. Like that's honestly what I would do. Like, the fact that Blizzard isn't just completely draconian with this, I think it's an embarrassment. No, really. Like, why not? Like, you should, yeah, they should completely shit on these people. You didn't do it on stream? Yeah, but, like, the thing is that if you're streaming, you're indirectly creating an advertisement for it. Because you're using the stream as a way to, like, present yourself as an authority or some sort of a approachable person that somebody can maybe buy carries from. So even though it's not a direct salesman or direct sales link, it's a secondary link. Absolutely. What about free curve carries? I'm not talking about free curve carries. This is completely different. Like, I'm talking specifically about people paying real money for mythic carries. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's, you know, for subs and all that other bullshit. I mean, that's... I don't know, but this specifically is very clearly RMT, and Blizzard should not tolerate it at all. Like, not even in a slight way. Yeah, who cares about free carries? I mean, come on, give me a break.
At the end of the day, turns out hiring a team of 19 specialists for something that takes 3 hours, that's going to cost a lot of money. That's like 68 hours or, 50 or 60 hours, which is like a week and a half of a really top tier person's time. And that's going to cost a lot of money. I mean, hell, especially because it's almost like if you hire an artist for something, you're not hiring the artist for the amount of time they're drawing for you. You're also like paying for, all
the amount
of
of time
their
it took to
experience
develop that skill.
historically. And it's kind of like that with these people setting up those characters. Again, not condoning it, it's just super interesting seeing how secondary markets form in games like this. And then next up, we have Hearthstone kind of playing with us a little bit. Their most recent PvE event has a new hero for every class. But for that event, in the hero roster, there is a Sethrak Shaman and a Volpera boss. That's actually the boss from the Freehold. So, technically speaking, it's a playable Volpera and a playable Sethrak. And I mean, sure, it's probably just a bit of fun from the Hearthstone team. They actually play around with kind of AU Warcraft stuff quite a bit.
Yeah, it better be fun.
I mean, hey, we all know many people want to play the Volpera, and many people want to predate on those first group of people by playing as Sethrak and eating them. I mean, hey, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Blizz added Volpera. Why? Transfers, character swaps, it's a lot of money that they make from that. Now, as for the new Hearthstone event, it actually seems really cool design-wise. So there are, basically, it seems like there's a lot of replayable content with unique PvE cards from within runs. There seems to be a lot of roguelite inspirations. You can select loadouts, new hero abilities, plus affixes that change the fight rule sets. You can even stop off at a vendor NPC, kind of, to modify your deck mid-run. So design-wise, it seems better than ever. But it doesn't interest me because it's $19.99. I don't know, I might end up picking it up for like work purposes, for context, but if that was purely me spending my own money and not the company money, then
$20 for fake cards?
do it. Each of the 5 chapters awards 3 packs of cards, so it's actually a really bad deal card-wise if you're buying packs. It's not like the older adventures where you'd purchase the adventure and you just get the full roster of new cards from that adventure.
I have never played Hearthstone. I have no idea about any of this.
Business model with now 3 expensive expansions per year, I believe, plus PvE content that has retained its old pricing that was predicated on its card content.
That seems like a lot, dude.
With that card content not being there anymore.
They're so greedy.
It's quite a strange game, although admittedly, I think they're getting into a pretty interesting design space, leveraging the fact that it's a video game and, doing some PvE card game stuff, which I think is pretty cool indeed. But anyway, there we go for the news. A lot of interesting stuff. Very unfortunate with the ticket scalping, but I think there are many ways in which patch 8.2 is shaping up in a good way.
I don't know about the ticket scalping
thing. It's going to completely save Battle for Azeroth, right? I don't think it's going to undo all of the launch problems or any of that stuff. Yes, Warfronts probably still won't be that fun. Islands will probably still be pretty boring. So there are a bunch of failed experiments with this expansion, but I mean, this patch doesn't really bother with those 2 features too much anyway, and it mostly is trying to focus on making core world content, core itemization, those things, a bit better, which is a noble goal. Overall, I'd say it's not going to, for the people who are hard out of the expansion, it'll be a no, but I think for the people who are still interested, maybe dabbling in it, it's probably going to be a pretty good patch.
I think that, that's pretty good evaluation.
This patch
I would agree with that too.
An expansion that's otherwise had so many issues, because when I look at much of
this, that's totally true, right? I mean, I'll just pause it, right? He's basically ending the video. BFA, like 8.2 is not going to bring people back. Like if you're done with WoW because of BFA, it's not like you're going to see 8.2 and be like, oh my God,